Cares Foundation, which is Michael's business. That's a nonprofit foundation that's going to benefit veterans. And so if you guys have the heart to donate tonight and you want to support Reps Ahead, just donate to veterans. Like, that's super cool that we get to say that, and we mean it. We're going to be raffling off some items. We're going to have a banner for raffle. So it's basically this banner signed by all the athletes. And if you get the banner, you also get a picture with all the athletes after the competition. So that's one of the items. We have other items for raffle. We have food and beverages for sale if you guys want to get a snack or get something to drink. We also have Uno Mas is in the back. We have RP apparel, or PR apparel. Sorry, guys. A little dyslexic. They're back there, so check them out. We also have Emmett Zepp, who's working with the athletes. He's a PT in the area. Big shout out to him. And also Gabriel Park, who's making our food. So thanks to all our vendors as well. And without further ado, I'll talk about Reps Ahead some more in a minute, but I want to have Michael come up, and he's going to share a little bit about the foundation and his heart.
Very large, very productive team that helps make this gym, the one in Broomfield, and everything that we do possible.
What is this one? That's for the live stream.
Oh.
So they can hear it too.
Where does it go?
Oh, you're good. You can just like hold it there. Yeah.
We, a couple of years ago, set out originally when we started the foundation. It's not mine or anybody's actually. Nonprofits are unique in that they exist as if they're their own sort of entity, their own person. Not to benefit any one person or group. We set out 2 years ago to get that approval to, believe it or not, just build a nonprofit gym. And yet, now we run 2 and are building a 3rd, and chiropractic centers and cryotherapy centers and so many things that are not nonprofit. But we've wanted to continue taking it back to that mission. I was talking to Joe a little earlier about just how many things like this have come and gone, or things, you know, a lot of people have different ideas, and I think that ours has sort of stood the test of time because we do all of it for people, not really for profits. And the nonprofit is something that we get really excited about. Just the month of June alone, we provided to veterans and first responders over $67,000 worth of healthcare, nutrition, and fitness services. And so, thanks. And so as Renovo, that's through healthcare access to veterans, their medications, their appointments with providers. Obviously through the gym and what we do, we provide nutrition and fitness. And we will continue hosting these events and continue doing nonprofit support because it's that foundation that ideally one day is self-sufficient enough to cover those services that we can provide here, but then veterans all around the country can apply for a scholarship and then receive money if they're not local. And so that's what you're obviously here to watch like really great athletes do really cool things, and it's a very fun event to plan and run, but it all comes down to we're all doing this and working so hard together for those communities. So thanks for being here.
Thanks, Michael. Appreciate it. I'm going to steal your mic real quick. I'm going to put it back in my hat. Sorry, that's for the live stream so they can hear me. So Reps Ahead. What is Reps Ahead? It is like the most simple thing in the world. It's almost too simple. So I'm an engineer, and when I look at Reps Ahead, it's like, really? All you do is get Reps Ahead and an AMRAP, and that's it? Well, it's kind of like knockout, almost UFC fitness. It's super fun to watch, very easy to understand. We have scoring monitors over here with the athletes' names. You'll see those scores going up and down with the same number. If you are green, let's say you're +8. That means that person is 8 reps ahead, and it'll say -8 on the other side. That person is 8 reps behind. So the athletes can sort of game it, and they can kind of look at the score and manage their strategy, manage their pace based on what the other athlete's doing. So it's very intimate for the athletes. So there's really no way to prepare for Reps Ahead. Obviously, you can train the sequence, do some different things, but until you get in the ring and you stare into James Sprague's eyes, you're really not going to know what he's going to do, or any one of these athletes. So it's very exciting. And so today you're going to see the pro format. They're going to be doing a 3 minutes of work interval, so 3 minutes on with 1 minute of rest. So we have benches that if somebody doesn't get 14 reps ahead in the sequence, let's say they're 12 reps ahead and the round ends, they get a 1 minute rest, then they restart again, and they'll have a total of 5 rounds to try to knock the other person out. Now this workout's not gonna go 5 rounds, I don't think. If it does, it'll be the most epic thing you have ever seen in your entire life. So we'll hope for it, but likely the knockouts will be sooner, okay? But if for some reason it goes all 5 rounds, the person with the highest amount of reps will win, okay? So I'm gonna explain the sequence, we're gonna demo the movements, I'll cover all of that over again, but literally the athletes are racing to get a set number of reps ahead of the other athlete in really an AMRAP sequence. That's the way to think of it, okay? So without further ado, I am actually gonna announce the athletes. I'm gonna announce the community matches first. So I'll have you both come out at the same time. So we have Riley McNamara and we have Riley Myrick. Let's give them a big hand. These dudes are super fit. Riley McNamara is from Coda, Ironview. Everybody knows Coda. They are a great gym. Riley Milix, he's done reps ahead multiple times. Yeah, if you guys kind of like scoot over that way, we'll just line all you guys up. So these dudes are studs, and they're local here to Colorado. So I'm super excited to showcase them again. And next we have Isabelle Sneller and Ashlynne Slovek. Isabelle's been around MBS. She goes to Coda as well. And Ashlynne's with CrossFit Decimate. Decimate. I love that word. Reps ahead is going to decimate, folks. I love the way that sounds. So great local athletes. So super excited for them. In our first undercard match, we're going to have Malachi Bennett and Jake Marconi. All right. You guys can kind of tighten up a little bit. Thanks. Jake is an absolute stud with HWPO, and Malachi, everybody knows who he is. He's a local legend from Wyoming. Really great friend of mine. I'm super excited for both of them tonight. All right, for our first main card match, we have Kelly Stone and Kyra Milligan. Kelly's local, Kyra's from Las Vegas. We're very excited for both of them. All right, in our second made card match, we have a veteran, James Sprague, and a newcomer, Nick Mathew. Both of these guys and gals previously are games athletes caliber. James, you got to stay up there, bud. Can we give Nick a round of applause for this crop top, please? One more. I mean, come on. All right, last but not least, we have Sydney Wells and Paige Powers. Paige is from CrossFit Mayhem and Sydney hails from Proven. So now we're going to stand for the national anthem. I gotta find it here. Just give me a moment. Please remove your caps.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming?
right, so our first matches start at 3:30. We're gonna go ahead and do a little movement demo. If you could actually move him on the opposite side, like just skip bars so he can be right in front. Yeah. Oh, sorry. So Riley, if you could come up in like 2 minutes. Yeah, we're gonna have you do the demo. Okay. Okay. Oh.
Sorry, the mic.
Hi there, my name is Michael Mayali, and I have the privilege of working with this incredible team putting on Reps Ahead Pro 3 for you today. I want to say thank you to them, thank you to you, and thank you to anybody who's been a part of getting this event series to where it is today. If you'll remember, we do these events to raise awareness and support for the New You Cares Foundation in an effort to provide healthcare, nutrition, and fitness services for free to members of exceptional communities all around the United States. Since the last Reps Ahead Pro event, we have been able to do so much work that in the month of June alone, we have provided over $67,000 worth of healthcare, nutrition, and fitness services for free to veterans and first responders. If you would like to support that, please text Renovo to 801-801. That's RENOVO to 801-801. With that said, we hope that you enjoy the event today, and we cannot wait to see you at the next Reps Ahead Pro event in the near future.
Rather than start at the box, the proper sequence. So with the sequence, so they're going to be 3 minutes on, 1 minute off. They're going to start with 12 box jump overs. You can
Welcome inside MBS CrossFit here in Thornton, Colorado. My name is Brian Friend, joined by Bella Martin, and tonight we have Reps Ahead Pro 3 Redemption. You guys just got to hear from both Phil Thomas and Michael Mayali, the two primary men that make this possible for the athletes, for the community. I got a chance to do one of these back in March in Jacksonville with Phil. Michael wasn't there, got to meet him this weekend, but I was all by myself that time. This time I get Bella with me, very happy for that. And Bella, it's your first time being involved with Reps Ahead. We got in yesterday, we got to spend some time with the athletes last night, and especially this morning. What's the overall vibe amongst the athletes leading into the matches today?
They seem to just be having fun. I mean, we did, a 35-minute conditioning piece with the whole crew this morning. So if we're doing that going into a competition, I think not a whole lot of pressure and a lot of good vibes from everybody.
Yeah, that was the thing that I really picked up on in Jacksonville, is that the athletes could continue to train through this competition, right? It is a competition. They are going to take the floor, go ahead and compete, but they're able to do it without really interfering with what they're doing in their normal training week. And that's especially important when you consider that we do have two 2024 CrossFit Games athletes who qualified this year that are here competing.
Yeah, I think that's usually something that deters athletes from doing more competitions is, well, how can I keep my training the same? How can I compete? But also, how can I make money doing this sport? And here we are doing all of the above.
Yeah, that's the other thing about Reps Ahead, that when I really gave Phil the opportunity to talk to me through his entire vision for this, and then I got to meet Michael, who is hugely involved with the financial ends of this, that the athletes can show up here and it's a guaranteed paycheck. If we've seen this in the sport before, it used to be in Dubai that this was kind of an expectation. Rogue has made this a kind of a thing for the athletes that are good enough to compete there. So far, this has been a invitation only. If you get invited to one of these, you're gonna walk away with some money. And what we've introduced this time is a winning bonus, which I think only increases the drama and the excitement.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think if you can come out here and you know that you're going to get a little bit of extra money for winning, you're going to full send that first interval. And I mean, we've heard some of the athletes already talking about their strategies for that first full send. We'll see who vomits on the floor, maybe who passes out after interval number one, all in the name of money.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that Phil consistently talks about. You guys may have heard in the intro that Reps Ahead is unique when it comes to CrossFit competitions because you're not competing from a field of 10. You're not going for the fastest time, the heaviest lift. All you have to do is beat the person that's right across from you, and that therefore the strategy can change up quite a bit.
I mean, who doesn't love a good AMRAP? I think if I'm thinking of things that I love to do, it's going to be an AMRAP. And if we're doing that, and that's all I know I got to do, and I have to lift the heaviest, I don't have to do anything more than you except for just beat you by 14 reps. Okay, let's go.
And what we'll see tonight, I think, because if you did watch Pro 2, the sequence was very different. And the athletes kind of knew that that match was probably going to go a majority of the rounds, if not all the way to the end, which is what happened. This sequence is very different and intentionally so. Phil has found people in the local areas that can test these sequences and test them well and give him the feedback that he wants the athletes to experience on the competition floor. If anyone has, any of you guys have experience with CrossFit and you look at this sequence of 12 box jump overs, 6 thrusters at a moderately heavy weight, especially when you consider the volume that they'll be doing it for, and 12 chest to bar pull-ups, it has the reminiscence of Fran. You have 3 minutes and only a 1 minute rest before you have to go again. I don't think the athletes are going to want this to go 5 rounds.
Absolutely not. We were already talking to Marconi, and he says he's going to try to full send that first round because he doesn't want to go any further. You're talking about testing sequences. What goes into testing it, and who has the honor of testing these sequences, Brian?
Ooh, I don't know if I can give away the testing athletes necessarily. I have to check with Phil on that one. But I do know, because he and I we debriefed after Jacksonville. We both kind of shared what we thought were the limitations to the sequence, and what we wanted to see in the next one. And when he went about doing the testing here, one of the things that he considered was the time domain. Because we had 2 minutes on, 1 minute off there. This time he's increased it to 3 minutes on, 1 minute off. We did toy around with 2.5 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a 2.5 minute interval in the future at some point for reps ahead. But he wanted it to be where in the last kind of round or working third, that there is a deterioration of movement quality. So meaning that there's also the opportunity for you to see that in your opponent and capitalize on it.
Has to be. I mean, there's mental game that goes into this more than I think anything I've seen in a little while. If you know that, hey, my opponent is maybe not as good as chest bar, or maybe they're not as good at thrusters, I'm going to try to find my way around those two movements and get the heck ahead of you.
Right, and I think what we'll see, and in some of the cases we won't necessarily know ahead of time because we do have 2 community matches that are going to start things off. And while they're very good athletes, we haven't seen them at high-level competitions like we have once we get to, especially to the 4th match of the night, the pro matches. But even Malachi and Jake Marconi, we have data on those athletes. I don't know in these early matches where the advantage is going to be, but the athletes, the girls that are competing know each other. They've competed against each other last year in local competition here. And we'll figure out pretty quickly who's got the edge on the box, the gymnastics, and with the weight.
Brian, I think my favorite thing when you come to a competition where you actually don't know anybody is seeing the athletes for the first time and then making that immediate guess of, okay, this is my pick and this is why. I think when it comes to the 2 guys, both Rileys that came out onto the floor, my immediate thought was, oh, Myrick is definitely going to take this one. Funny enough, he was the one who did the movement demo. So talk about someone who's got a little bit more confidence going into it. I'm going to go with Riley Myrick on that one. I don't even know much about the guy, but I'm excited to see him move.
Oh, we'll give you some information about those athletes as we get closer to that match. But he came out for the intros wearing his grips, and you were like, wow, he is ready to go. We didn't know that he was also the movement demo athlete at that time. The other thing that was really cool for me personally, because I do a lot of these CrossFit competitions coverage for them, and historically it's also been a challenge with the sport, is the ability to follow along with what's going if you've never seen it before. This makes that really simple. If you guys have not watched before, if you're looking at the main floor, there's going to be a counter there, and the athletes and you guys will always be able to see exactly where each athlete is at relative to each other, which is not unheard of in CrossFit, but it's unique that you get to see the entire field of play and know exactly where each athlete on it stands throughout the workout.
Yeah, I think when I talk to people who don't do CrossFit or that are newer to the sport and they're watching competitions for the first time, the feedback I'm always getting is, well, I don't know what's going on. How am I supposed to follow it if I'm new and I don't understand who's going to help me? Well, if all you have to do is look at the scoreboard, then you know exactly what's happening and you can follow along a little bit better. I think this is a great intro for anybody who wants to learn about CrossFit as a sport and some of the best athletes possible to do that job.
As a matter of logistics for today, if you guys have not seen the schedule, basically the first match is set to start at 3:30 Mountain Time, which is 10 minutes from now. And then we don't know exactly how long each match will take. In a usual CrossFit competition, if you know it's a 12-minute time cap, then that's the limit. You maybe reset the floor for 2-3 minutes and you start the next heat. We've approximated 20 minutes between matches. So the published times that you've seen of 3:30, 3:50, 4:10, and increasing by 20 minutes from there for each of the matches. We're going to try to stay as close to that as possible. Some of the matches may end real quick. It is possible that one or two of them go a little bit longer, and we are going to do our best to bring the winner of each match over to talk to them as well. So we'll try to stick as close to that timeline as possible, but just so you guys know that there could be a little bit of variance, because obviously when a match ends, the athletes are going to be tired. We'll need to reset the floor, give the next group of athletes a chance to come out and get their bearings before they go. We want each of the matches and each of the athletes to have the optimal scenario when they start the match. So just so you guys are aware of that tentative timeline, I think we'll be able to keep it pretty tightly, but if we're a few minutes off, we won't be early, but if we're a few minutes late, that's why.
Hey, that's okay. I think it just adds to the drama and the suspense of it all. Who knows what's going to happen? Not you, not me, not even them. They have no idea.
All right, Bella and I are going to step aside for a second. We're going to run the Renovo ad here once again for you guys that did not hear the intro. Renovo and New You Cares integrally involved with the production of Reps Ahead and everything that it's been able to do so far and strives to continue to be able to do. So if you get a chance to check them out and support in any way, you can. And we'll be back to get you set for match number 1 shortly.
Hi there, my name is Michael Mayali, and I have the privilege of working with this incredible team putting on Reps Ahead Pro 3 for you today. I want to say thank you to them, thank you to you, and thank you to anybody who's been a part of getting this event series to where it is today. If you'll remember, we do these events to raise awareness and support for the New You Cares Foundation in an effort to provide healthcare, nutrition, and fitness services for free to members of exceptional communities all around the United States. Since the last Reps Ahead Pro event, we have been able to do so much work that in the month of June alone, we have provided over $67,000 worth of healthcare, nutrition, and fitness services for free to veterans and first responders. If you would like to support that, please text Renovo to 801-801. That's RENOVO to 801-801. With that said, we hope that you enjoy the event today, and we cannot wait to see you at the next Reps Ahead Pro event in the near future.
think this bout's going to go 5 rounds? Anyone think so? I don't think so either. Especially since not everyone here, they're not used to that thin air. We did a workout this morning. I think I know I was. It'll be interesting to see.
Test, test. Test, test.
This company I got to make out with this thing. Can you hear me? Okay. You heard me.
Welcome back inside MBS CrossFit here in Thornton, Colorado. My name is Brian Friend, joined by Bella Martin, and the first match of Reps Ahead Pro 3 Redemption is about to get started. We got Patrick Clark on the mic tonight for the people live here on site, and we're excited to bring you guys 6 total matches. The first 2 matches are labeled community matchups. These are local athletes to the area. Both athletes in this first matchup are named Riley. We have Riley McNamara out of Dakota CrossFit Iron View, 25 years old. And he'll be going against Riley Myrick, Masters athlete representing 35 years old out of CrossFit Omnia. Riley McNamara will be on the right side. 1 second, actually.
It's time to burn it down.
Phil.
Yeah. So.
Fine with the scoring there because the names on the scorecard are the opposite of where the men are standing. We want to make sure to get it right. So Riley Myrick with the glasses and the black shirt, they're Stronger CrossFit together. And on the right side with the knee sleeves and the blue shorts, that's Riley McNamara. We'll get it right.
We'll get it right. This is match number 1. Both named Riley, so at least we're 50% right 100% of the time.
Yeah, not only that, also last initial M, so, you know. But there we go. Riley Myrick on the left, Riley McNamara on the right. They're getting ready to start the first 3-minute working interval of a workout titled John. 12 box jump overs, 24-inch box. For this match, we have 6 thrusters at 135 pounds and 12 chest to bar pull-ups. And Bella has already staked her claim on Riley Myrick, so I'm going to go with the young man, Riley McNamara. They do have the option for a step down or a rebound on the box jumps. This was discussed in the athlete briefing with Phil Thomas. It is a bit of a point of contention in CrossFit to whether we should have this or not. Historically, rebounding box jumps is something that if you're capable of doing it, you can take advantage of. More modern times often have the step down to try to avoid injury. Thoughts?
I think we're already seeing the benefit of being able to do those rebounding box jumps. Myrick almost 5 reps ahead, and we're only in interval number 1 because he's got that rebound. But again, that was not my champion for this one. Already onto the bar for the first time. Things are looking good for Myrick.
Yeah, and he's going to be coming off of the bar here in a few seconds, and that's going to be a sub 50-second round as he drops down at 47-second mark. Reminder, this is a 3-minute interval. And we talked to some of these athletes in the lead up, and they did think that in the first round, if you wanted to, that 3 to 4 rounds was possible. See if he's able to hold the pace.
He might not need to go 3 rounds if he's already 8 reps ahead. If he can keep this rebound and stay ahead of McNamara going into the bar and on the chest bar, he didn't break. So his strategy is definitely working out well.
Right, and McNamara switching to the rebounding box jumps in round 2. 1 step down, 11 box jumps, and he did choose to take 1 break on the chest to bar pull-ups. These early breaks in this format can be costly if your opponent gets to 14 reps ahead, but if the match lasts longer, that's where that gamesmanship could potentially pay off.
Mark's looking smooth and steady. He's 11 reps ahead, make it 12.
A little bit of urgency for McNamara on the right side of the floor there. He's glancing to his left, looking over at his opponent while doing the chest bar pull-ups. He is not going to break on this round. We're approaching the 1 minute 50 second mark. Both athletes done with 2 rounds, but about a 9 rep deficit, and straight to the step down here for McNamara. This one may not even get out of round number 1.
If they don't get out of round number 1, that's just setting us up for a story to be told later on. Myrick's looking like he's slowing down a little bit, but it's round number 1, so if they need to go into it, see if he can hold on. They've got less than a minute left.
Yeah, and we're at the 2 minute and 12 second mark, but both athletes are showing signs of pain. McNamara going to primarily the step downs again, and Myrick slowing down his rate on those last 2 thrusters. You see the grimace on his face on these chest bars. He's going to try to hold on. McNamara dumps the bar, and that's going to do it for match number 1. And I mean, this is what Phil told me would happen, is that you would get about 2 minutes and 15 seconds in, and you're going to learn a lot about this workout and these athletes.
You're going to learn a lot about yourself in this one. Oh my gosh. Riley Myrick, full send out the gate, not even 2 intervals, just 1. He didn't even need the full interval. If
No.
this is the 280 division, Brian, what's going to happen with pros?
That we're showing 2 minutes 39 seconds on the clock, and maybe it was done a few minutes earlier than that. But Riley Myrick, 35 years old, representing CrossFit Omnia, knocking out Riley McNamara out of CrossFit Iron View in the first round, setting the tone for the night.
Setting the tone. He's not the rookie here. He's the pro at reps ahead, showing him how it's done.
And let's give a hand to Riley McNamara as well.
We're going to let Riley catch his breath for just a second here and bring him in to join us.
Oh, God. Sorry if I'm stepping on you.
No problem, no problem. All right, so just going to have you hold this underneath your chin a little bit. Riley Myrick, did you expect the first round knockout?
I didn't expect it, but it's what I really wanted. I've done a few of these before, and I've never had the rounds, like the rest interval, and I really didn't want to feel what that second round was going to feel like.
We noticed the facial expression change for both of you as the clock ticked just past 2 minutes. Did you feel that in the last set of thrusters that something was kind of changing physically for you?
Yeah, it was getting hard. I was worried that 3 minutes was going to come up before I could get him, but I knew it was close, so that was the savior mentally was, I think I can get him before the clock hits.
Riley, you've done these before. Do you think you have a little bit of an edge over your competition if you know how it's going to go? And they're not always the same workouts, but you know how to throw down 1v1, which most people don't know how to do.
Right, so, I mean, I'd say yes, I guess, just because I've done it and experienced the format, but it's tough because a lot of people want to practice these or, demo them at their gyms at home, but you really don't know what to expect because you have no idea what your opponent's going to do, what their strengths are. So, yes, because a little bit less nerves. I've done it before, but ultimately, it kind of doesn't matter.
You compete often enough. We've seen you before, not necessarily in reps ahead for me since my first, but a lot of times. How do you feel comparing 1v1 versus an actual competition board? Do you like having more people to go against, or do you feel more fire going 1v1?
I think this is really cool. I think I feel more fire than this. Grew up playing sports, played sports in college, and always super competitive. And this, you can, in a thing where there's 10 people in a heat, you lose track of where people are. But here it's like, you can see how they're doing. You can gauge how they're feeling. You can kind of smell that blood in the water. And from an athlete perspective, that's a really cool thing that I feel like you don't get in a lot of other CrossFit comps.
Do you feel any additional pressure knowing that some of the best athletes in the world are right behind you watching you take this on and they haven't done it yet?
I didn't think about it too much. I thought it's really cool that Phil's getting a lot of big name people out here and really making this a big deal. Being that I competed in the first version of this, and we didn't have any any pros or anything. So, but from an athlete perspective, I was like, they're gonna be warming up and not watching me.
Well, hoping so. So if you don't think they watched you, you're going to be watching them. Do you have any favorites for the main cards coming up?
Gosh. Well, I know Kelly used to train with her a bit, and I know she's, had some ups and downs this year, so I want to see Kelly have a good event. a good match. James is such a positive dude, just meeting him for the first time. So, you just can't help but root for him. And, Sydney, kind of the same thing as Kelly. Just want to see her kind of get something positive here.
Any shout outs you want to give? Jim, family, anyone back home?
CrossFit Cherry Creeks, where I train. Owner Don, one of my best friends, training partner. Love the community out there, and just really make CrossFit fun for me every day. Fiance Honor's in the crowd, and that's it.
Riley, you're an absolute legend. It's good to have you on.
Cool, thank you.
Hey, man.
Appreciate
Riley
it, guys.
Myrick, winner of Event 1, knockout in the first round of Match 1 tonight, setting the tone for the evening. Thank you for that epic performance and for taking the time to come talk to us.
Thank you, appreciate it.
We will step aside for a couple minutes, and we'll get back with you guys from MBS CrossFit for the second community match of Reps Ahead Pro 3 Redemption. You'll enjoy watching. I've only called one of them. You'll enjoy watching that match. That's not the night layout. I already have some thoughts, but I want to watch all of them.
You guys are doing great. You guys are doing great. The stream looks good.
Roger said we don't need the remote mic for the interviews. He set up a system for echo removal to avoid our mics picking each other up, and that our mics are picking up the third time. Yeah.
Tickets for Broncos versus Panthers, 1 month of virtual training, 2 gift cards for Botox treatments, one at $50 value, one at $500 value, the autograph banner that we talked about with photo opportunities with the athletes, 1 year of weight loss treatment, and 4 personal training sessions with Brian Campbell. Brian Campbell here?
Yeah, he's right there.
Yeah, 4 sessions with that dude. He'll teach you how to take stuff off the bar. That included in there, personal lessons. But yeah, those are just some of the Wilson items we have back there for raffle. There's also Fit Aid, water, stuff back there for sale. They do take debit and credit cards.
Welcome back to MBS CrossFit. One match down, 5 matches to go. The community athletes of match number 2 have taken the floor. Ashlynne Slovek is going to be on the left in the beige sports bra and black shorts. 28-year-old, local to the area. She'll be competing against 19-year-old Isabelle Sneller, right side of the screen, black and pink. Bella, do you get much of a chance to talk to either of these ladies today?
I haven't gotten to chat with them, but what I think is really fun is MBS is Isabelle's home gym. She's also 19, but she's going as the pro into this. This isn't her first reps ahead. So I think it's really exciting for younger athletes to have those opportunities. And you know me, I love when younger athletes get a chance to throw down against athletes that maybe inspire them or a little bit older. So I'm happy to see Isabelle back out here for reps at number 3 and see what happens.
Yeah, Riley Myrick took down the first match, and he has some reps ahead experience, as he alluded to in our interview. If you did read the previews that we had for these undercards, these athletes have competed in some of the non-pro versions of reps ahead that Phil Thomas has done here, local to the Colorado, Denver area. And they had a little different format where it was like win and advance, lose and go to the losers bracket, and everyone had multiple matches. This is now an elevated format where it's one and done. You get one opportunity, one opponent, one winner, one loser, and it looks like Ashlynne and Isabelle are ready to go. If you haven't seen the sequence yet, this sequence is called John. It's up to 5 rounds of 3 minutes of work, 1 minute of rest, 12 box jump overs at 20 inches, 6 thrusters, 95 pounds, and then 12 chest to bar pull-ups. The goal is to get 14 reps ahead.
So 239 was what Riley needed for the men. Let's see how the girls go. And I think it's a fun kind of test to see what the pros are going to do later on.
Absolutely. What I saw in Jacksonville when we had something similar to this is that the community matches paved the way for the big applause for Isabelle Sneller here on site, by the way, paved the way for those pro matches. But also, similarly to a CrossFit competition, is the first match is like the first heat. And therefore, the other heats or the other matches, in this case, that are watching, are picking up on slight things. Maybe they're even talking to the athletes, or they're watching and seeing the fast knockout and potentially making adjustments in the warm-up area to what they're going to need to do if they want to win their match.
I would do exactly what Riley Myrick did. Exactly to the T. Would it go as well? Probably not, but I would try.
Now, the other thing to pay attention to as we get into this first round here is what happens around that 2-minute mark.
Bit of a delay there. I'll just start trying to figure out if we're going to go for those rebounding or step downs.
Yeah, and so one nuance of this workout is that there is the option to rebound the box jumps. We saw Riley Myrick choose that out of the gate. McNamara did not, fell behind early, chose to rebound in the second part of the sequence, but couldn't hold on to that. Sneller faster off of the box here and has the early lead on the thrusters.
She's the pro here, making it look like the pro. And up 36 seconds, already headed to the chest to bar. See if she goes unbroken, just like Myrick.
Yeah, the first round for Myrick was about 47 seconds. And we're just past the 50-second mark now. Isabelle's coming down at 52 seconds, and she'll start immediately into the second set of box jump overs. Just to put some things in perspective, as far as quarterfinals this year in their region, which is the West Coast, remember this may be worldwide actually, Ashlynne 632nd, Isabelle 794th, so very respectable in terms of a quarterfinal athlete.
Respectable, and again, Isabelle's only 19, so this is one of her first seasons in the actual open division. Still trying to test the waters a little bit, see where she's going to go. I think she's setting herself up for success later on, and she can do this many competitions.
Break now for Isabelle Sneller in the second set of thrusters, and we're only at the 90-second mark. 90 seconds to go in the first working interval. It wasn't until about 2 minutes in that we really saw that deterioration of the men in the community match. And I wonder, Sneller's break there has allowed Slovek to pull within a couple reps. Sneller up on the bar, and now 4 and 5 reps ahead as they get into the second set of chest bar pull-ups.
Interestingly enough, it seems to be the thruster for the girls that is the determining factor, whereas for the guys, it was that chest bar pull-up, Ryan.
Yeah, Sneller had the advantage on the box jumps in round 1, gave that lead away on the thrusters in round 2, and Sneller comes off the box to join on the box jump overs, about 5 reps behind where the 2-minute and 10-second mark. 45 seconds now to go in this interval, and the pace of box jump overs, especially for Slovek, definitely slowing down here in the third round of the sequence.
So down Isabelle's going back 220, almost to where the guys are. She's got a lot of time left. I think we're going to go into the next couple rounds, Brian.
Well, and for people who have done Fran, if you can finish under 2 minutes and 30 seconds, yes, that's incredibly impressive. But you also kind of finish before the pain really sets in. Right now, we're into that pain threshold, even though we're only at 2 minutes and 45 seconds of working time. Sneller breaks again. Slovek has the bar up. She's only down by 2 reps right now. Now both barbells on the ground. 10 seconds until the end of this first round, and down to singles for Sneller.
That's tough, and it's only interval number 1. It doesn't get easier from here. And we'll let the scoreboard settle. There is obviously a very small delay between when the athlete does a rep and when we trigger it. It's pretty good technology that we've integrated here. But with 3 minutes down, 1 round down, out of 5 potentially, Isabelle Sneller has a 1 rep lead. The sequence will restart at the beginning. So although Ashlynne came up 1 thruster short of Isabelle there, they will start over at the start of the sequence, which is the 12 box jump overs. Ashlynne was a little bit slower out the gate, but I think that was maybe her strategy. She doesn't seem as cooked as poor Isabelle does right now.
And we talked about this with McNamara and Myrick in the first round, is that if Myrick was able to get that first round knockout, that strategy of going out fast was probably going to pay off. But you heard it from him in the interview. He didn't want it to go into that second round. I think even though she's down a rep, Slovek does hold a slight edge as round 2 starts now. So back on the box, 12 box jump overs, 20 inches, 6 thrusters, 95 pounds, 12 chest to bar pull-ups. Ashlynne Slovek on the left entering this round, 1 rep behind Isabelle Sneller on the right.
I think round 2 is probably worse than round 1 because you know exactly how it's going to hurt and you know exactly when it's going to hurt. It's just a matter of when you get there.
And we did see that athletes checking each other out at the end of the first round in both matches. I think especially in this round, you have to see if your opponent breaks, do you have the tenacity to dig deep? And right now we're going to get to see it off the bat because Sneller has broken the thrusters again and Slovek has erased that 1 rep deficit. It looks like she's going to hold on for all 6 reps, and Slovek for the first time is heading to the pull-up bar ahead of Sneller.
I don't know if slow and steady is going to win the race, but steady will take this one. Slovek's looking solid in round number 2. Not coming off that bar yet.
No, Sneller breaking on the chest bar pull-ups here in round 1, and Slovek 7 reps ahead of her, turning to head to the box. Slovek has had what I would call a methodical pace on the box jump overs. But now if you're looking, which she does not seem to be looking at Isabelle, but if she glances over there and she'll see the scoreboard that you guys see as well, there could be an opportunity to push there and get towards that 10 rep mark. When you hit the 10, 11 mark, then the crowd starts to kick in. And then the adrenaline stick kicks in and you might be able to get to the finish line.
Ashlynne picks up the pace once she gets to that barbell, knowing that Isabelle is kind of slowing down there in that movement. So I think for her staying slow here on the box, she knows she's got less than 10 reps before she's 14 reps ahead.
And this all might be setting up for another unbroken set of thrusters. She's been stronger on the barbell than Isabelle, and she definitely has seen Isabelle take those breaks, do those singles, because on the bar, which I love, by the way, they are facing each other and there's nowhere else to look. But with a 2 rep lead when she picks that up, it could be 6 reps by the time she puts this down. And if Isabelle takes 30 seconds off this barbell, she could get these chest bars done. She only needs 12 of them right now. We could be very close to a knockout in this round. We have 45 seconds to go, and the barbell's on the ground. Here is the door open that Ashlynne Slovek needs to potentially close this out in round number 2. 30 seconds to go in this round, and you see the speed increase by Slovek now. And there it is, Isabelle unable to get up on the pull-up bar. If she had been able to cycle the chest bars, it's a faster rep. But Slovek, with the gamesmanship there, she didn't have the reps ahead experience coming in, but it sure looked like she did.
That was a pro performance by Ashlynne. I'm excited to get her thoughts on that one. Give them a little bit of extra time. 2 intervals is a little bit worse than 1.
Yeah, we talked to the athletes prior to the match, and we told them we are going to want to talk to the winner, but we recognize that usually if you're at a competition where you do something good enough to get an interview, that means that there's other athletes finishing, a time cap is hitting, or it was a 1-rep max, and you're a little bit more fresh. PC will be with her on the floor here, and then we'll bring her over to get a little bit of a breakdown and see where she was at mentally in that workout, maybe before, during, and then after the match. But Ashlynne Slovek joining Riley Myrick as the winners of the community matches here for Reps Ahead 3 Redemption. PC out there asking her about the first round of the workout, so we'll let her talk to the crowd here, and we'll bring her in to talk to you guys as well. But a little different than the first match, but pretty impressed with Slovek on that one.
I'm incredibly impressed. I think not only did she show she knew herself as an athlete, but she figured out how to gamify this workout, and that's exactly what Reps Ahead is. It's a game.
That's exactly right. And we'll try to get her over here in a second. If you guys missed our intro, that was the second of 6 matches. 2 community matches done. The next matchup is going to be an undercard match of Jake Marconi and Malachi Bennett. It is scheduled to start at 4:10 Mountain Time. We'll try to be as pretty close to that as possible. We'll let the equipment crew change pull-up bar heights and barbells. But we do have Ashlynne Slovek coming to join us in the booth. Ashlynne, we know you're tired.
Just mentally, like knowing that you gotta chase someone down or like get those reps ahead is a game changer. You don't know what that's gonna feel like until you're like chasing them down, and you really don't. It's hard to know where you are. Like you hear it, but you're just kind of out of it, and so you're just like trying to push yourself to keep moving. And then once you feel the crowd kind of like get amped, you know you're close, and that was a super cool feeling.
It looked like you reacted to the crowd.
Yeah,
was it at that point that you realized, I might be getting close?
Yeah, I was like, okay, I can do this on the box. Kind of my strategy was like make it up on the chest bar. Like that's maybe where I could cycle through the reps the fastest. So once I got off those, I was like, I can win on the box. Let's just kind of go.
Did you watch the first match at all? And if so, did you learn anything from it?
I think it was over in the first round. I was warming up, so I wasn't sure, but yeah, it sounded like someone just took off. And I just know myself that if I do that, it's going to be really hard to recover. So I told myself just like stay with her, no matter what that is, the first round, and then try to pick it up from there.
So it's your first time at Reps Ahead. Talk me through, how did you prepare for a 1v1 against a 19-year-old?
My strategy was just kind of like do my thing. I know myself really well in workouts, and pacing is one of my strengths. This is a different format, so I was not sure if that was going to transfer over or not, but I think it did pay off, just like being a little bit conservative, letting her get ahead that first round, so I could kind of push it that second round.
What's worse, having to chase someone down or knowing someone's chasing you down in this one?
I kind of like chasing down at first. Kind of gives me something to just push through, see someone right ahead, and then, get it at the end.
We haven't done this one, or at least I haven't done this specific workout yet. It looks to be that the thrusters are really what separated you and Isabelle going into it. Did you practice this and that's where you found that you were going to get ahead, or was it really just a test bar and knowing she was going to need a break?
Thank you. I just kind of planned. I wanted to go unbroken on everything, and I didn't that first round, or somewhere in the round of thrusters. I did have to break because her pace was faster, so I was trying to kind of keep up with that. So I did have to break there, but then starting that second round, I was like, has to be unbroken from here on out, like don't break anything.
It's your first Reps Ahead. Do we think we're going to see a Reps Ahead 4? Hopefully. You're the winner now.
Hopefully, I'd be down.
Anyone at home that may be watching that you want to give a shout out to?
Just my CrossFit Decimate, and I coach at CrossFit Hellkite too. So just my family there. They're a huge part of my success and are always supporting me along the way. So shout out to them for sure.
Awesome. Well, Ashlynne Slovek, winner of Community Match 2 here at Reps Ahead Pro 3. Extremely well done. Great to meet you. Great performance.
Thanks, guys.
2 community matches down. The undercard match featuring Jake Marconi of HWPO and Malachi Bennett with NSA is coming up next. we're going to step aside for a few minutes. But Bella, those 2 matches were extremely exciting, and I think that we got 4 more barn burners coming up.
Do you think they could do another undercard? It's you versus me.
Maybe if we hadn't done that long slog of a workout this morning. All right, 2 down, 4 to go. Marconi and Bennett coming up next.
Hi there, my name is Michael Mayali, and I have the privilege of working with this incredible team putting on Reps Ahead Pro 3 for you today. I want to say thank you to them, thank you to you, and thank you to anybody who's been a part of getting this event series to where it is today. If you'll remember, we do these events to raise awareness and support for the New You Cares Foundation in an effort to provide healthcare, nutrition, and fitness services for free to members of exceptional communities all around the United States. Since the last Reps Ahead Pro event, we have been able to do so much work that in the month of June alone, we have provided over $67,000 worth of healthcare, nutrition, and fitness services for free to veterans and first responders. If you would like to support that, please text Renovo to 801-801. That's RENOVO to 801-801. With that said, we hope that you enjoy the event today, and we cannot wait to see you at the next Reps Ahead Pro event in the near future.
most of the evening here, right? Noon, it's afternoon. Sorry, I'm on Central Time. But yeah, great stuff back there. Football tickets. Who's the Broncos quarterback this year? David, I don't even know.
Community matches have finished up, and we're setting the stage for our undercard match today. Jake Marconi, Malachi Bennett. This is Reps Ahead Pro 3 Redemption from MBS CrossFit in Thornton, Colorado. I'm Brian Friend, joined by Bella Martin. Bella, 2 matches in. We're a third of the way through the evening. Impressions so far about John, the sequence that these athletes have to take on tonight?
Ouch. I think it's interesting. The barbell for the men was not the problem. It was barbell for the women. That seemed to be the challenge. For the men, it was the chest to bar. Ladies took into that second round, so it's interesting to see how different genders are taking on this workout and how it's going down. But now it's the pros, so now we're going to really see the show.
Well, in this case, we do have a pro in Malachi Bennett, who's been on the competition circuit, winning the Masters Fitness Championship last year in the 30 to 34 age division, podiuming at NorCal behind Games veterans, multiple year Games veterans, and Tim Paulson and Sean Sweeney. So he's, in good form for CrossFit competitions. And his opponent, quite frankly, is not. Jake Marconi has not been training or competing for something like this. He does have a very impressive aerobic and powerlifting fitness going on. And he's basically spent the last 3 weeks trying to get ready on the CrossFit intensity side of things. Do you think he's got a chance in this match?
Yeah, I wouldn't discount his former athlete experience. He's been around for a long time. And we were kind of looking at how they've done in the past. And the last time Jake and Malachi were on the floor together at Granite Games a couple years ago, Malachi beat him out. So this is the redemption tour is what we're calling it. So Jake's got something to prove here.
Absolutely. That is the redemption storyline. In 2017 is the match that Bella is referring to. Saxon and Spencer Panchik were first and second at the Granite Games, and with one event to go, Jake Marconi was occupying that third spot, but Malachi Bennett beat him in the final to take the podium spot away from him, and that's the last time that these two men have shared a competition floor until tonight.
That's why he retired.
He was competing all the way through semifinals. You guys may have seen him in the Knoxville a couple years ago, but he's coming out of retirement for this one. The sequence that they have is called John. It's 3 minutes of work, 1 minute of rest for a maximum of 5 rounds. So far, we have not needed more than 2. 12 box jump overs, 24 inches for the men. 155 pounds on the thruster. We've added some weight. We talked about that the 135 thruster seems very manageable for the men in the community match. Extra weight here makes sense, and already I'm noticing a little tactic here. These guys have moved to the other side of the box, which is perfectly legal, so that the even number box jumps ends close to the thruster. I think we're about to see fireworks in round number 1.
That's elite strategy right there. Now I want to know if they're going to rebound or they're going to step down. That was the argument earlier, so we'll see what they agreed on.
It was thrown to the athletes in the athlete brief that they did have the option to rebound if they want to. We've seen 1 of 4 athletes do it so far and make that 3 out of 6. Both athletes straight into some rebounding box jumps, and they'll be done with these very quickly and head straight over to that 155-pound barbell.
Malachi stepped down on his first one, saw Jake didn't step down. Change his strategy a little bit. Oh,
yeah, and Jake might have missed count there. He went for another rep, realized he didn't need it, ending on the side of the box straight into the thruster. 47 seconds was the split time from Riley Myrick, and Jake Marconi drops the bar and runs to the pull-up bar. Malachi follows suit. Now, if you watched Pro 2, Malachi went against Riley Humringhouse there, and Riley Humringhouse was setting a pace and challenging Malachi to come after him. It looks like we have that again, only Marconi being the rabbit this time. Those are fast transitions, Bella.
He looked at me and he said, I'm doing this right before this started, and here he goes. You can't discount Jake Marconi, Brian. Learn your lesson.
I'm not counting him out. I've seen Jake compete a bunch of times. We're at the 1 minute mark, and Jake's pretty close to finishing up the second set of 12 box jumps, but he only has a 2-rep advantage on Malachi as he gets to the barbell for the second time.
I think there's a little bit that he's probably learned from, having Fraser around. How do you gamify this one? How do you win to play your strategies? Here he goes.
Yeah, and he has been working with the other coaches at HWPO to train specifically for this for the last 3.5 weeks. I've always wondered, and Sevan has asked this question many times, can you take time off and come back and still compete at elite level? Marconi is putting it to the test in a format that we may not have expected when bringing up that topic a year or 2 ago.
I think you really wanted to get this done in 1 round, and I'm not so sure it's going to happen anymore, Brian.
Well, here's the thing. Phil Thomas knows Malachi Bennett very well. And I talked about this a lot in Pro 2 with Malachi Bennett. The guy has a mental fortitude that is nearly unmatched. We're just approaching that 2-minute mark, and Bennett has caught up to Marconi despite the frantic pace. But if you look at their faces, Bennett looks much more composed at this point than Marconi, and both men take a break. I don't know if Mal would have done that or not, or if he's playing off of Jake right now.
I mean, I think he's probably playing off of him. Jake is going to have a quicker cycle time for those thrusts. He's a little bit on the shorter side compared to Malachi, so he's just got to stay ahead. That cycle time, getting back up the chest bar. Jake needs to bring that heart rate down if he's going to try to get through that second round.
2 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock. I don't know it yet. Jake is not holding on in this round, and Malachi may have an opportunity. No, he comes off the bar. The impact of going out hard in this has hit these men very hard. Marconi just did one chest-to-bar pull-up.
I guess when you're 245 into it, it's near impossible to get 14 reps ahead.
No, and Bennett done with the chest-to-bars, and he sees some blood in the water here, jumps to the box immediately, and gets several reps in. We'll let the ticker settle. So Marconi absolutely went for that, I believe, trying to go for the knockout one. He's smiling on the bench. I don't know who he's looking at over there. Now he's laughing.
He's laughing at us. He said, I'm going to full send the first one, see what happens. I don't know if there's anything left in the tank for Marconi. I want to believe there is, but we got a long way to go.
The look on his face in the middle of the last set of thrusters there was one, the color in the face was draining, the eyes were widening, and even though he's laughing here in this interval, I think he is going to redline very fast when we get started here in only 20 seconds. That 1 minute is going to go by in a snap for these guys.
It's going to go by fast, but think about how much fun they're having, Brian. When do you see an athlete completely full send and fail, but laugh and smile about it? It's not often.
No, and that's part of the format here is that these guys, you know, Phil contacted them, invited them here. They paid him to come out here. They paid him to compete. There's a winning bonus in play for these matches. But there's also kind of like a nothing to lose. Jake knew that he was the underdog in this match. He decided to go for it, and he's having fun with it. And he's going to fight to the end no matter what happens.
Fight to the actual death.
Now, Malachi did recover well, and he's now at that 10 and 11 rep mark. Marconi glancing at the scorecard. The chest-to-bars are coming for Malachi, and if he's able to do a set of unbroken chest-to-bar, this match could be within 30 seconds of being over. Crowd is amplifying in intensity. Cycle rate on chest-to-bars is up, and Marconi knows what's about to happen, and there it is. Phil blows the whistle. 40 seconds into round 2. Malachi Bennett, veteran of reps ahead, and winner of our undercard match here in the third of 6 matches at Pro 3.
That's so tough. That's so tough.
Both men brought to their knees there. Malachi, consummate professional, great sport, great man, great leader of his family, his community, always has sportsmanship at the utmost, win or lose. And these guys are both smiling, like you said. And we do see this in CrossFit all the time, that athletes have relationships and respect for each other. But for something that hurt that bad, for them to be smiling and laughing about it this much is pretty fun to see.
I think it's fun. I think Malachi being that local legend, I think it, makes it a little even sweeter for him.
Yeah, and he's not as local as some of the community athletes living in Wyoming. But he traveled in for this. But in this area, he does a lot of local competitions. The Turkey Challenge, which is closely integrated with this, is a competition that Malachi has competed at in the past. And he's as I said, he's a veteran of reps ahead in general. We saw him at Pro 2. That match went the distance, and it came down to 2 reps between him and Riley Humringhouse. He was able to redeem himself from that one and come out the victor here against Marconi. We're going to get him to join us in the booth, but I want to say hats off to Jake. A lot of people would have shied away from something like this, a spotlight on you when you haven't competed in a couple years, but he took it head on. And he went for it as he said that he would. So all the credit in the world to him.
He's over there dying on the floor. He's out of camera. But if you're wondering how it feels to do this workout, he is on the floor on the struggle bus.
Let's see if we can get Malachi over here real quick. Just saying hi to his family and friends. He had a big support crew right up in the front row. standing up on their feet, cheering them on. So we wanted to give them a little bit of a love on the way over to join us. But he's coming over. Malachi. Sneak in here. Don't worry.
Like this, and I'm gonna go.
Turn around. Yes. If you can move your legs there. One more box step up there for you.
Yeah.
Tight space for a big man. Malachi, you're a veteran of these. How was Pro 3 for you?
Oh man, it was way more intense with like I thought it would be, like with the crowd, and just like a lot more intimate, you know. And it was like really cool to have my family here, but also intimidating at the same time because I'm, you know, look at my daughter and my wife and I, you know. Then my daughter comes up to me before the match and is like, "If you lose, I'm gonna kick your butt." So no pressure or anything, it's fine. So no, it was great though. I mean, the environment was like 10 times like more energy than really any pro event I think I've been a part of. So it was super cool, super fun.
Saw you on the ground there with Jake Marconi after the match. Both guys on your knees, smiling and laughing. What were you guys talking about?
Yeah, well, my strategy, I wasn't going to tell him, but it was to just burn it out in the beginning, you know. And he was making it sound like he wanted to stretch it out. So I was like, oh, this is great, you know, this plays to my advantage. And then total opposite. He burned it out. He went out like he got shot out of a rocket.
He lied to you.
He did. He's a manipulator. So I had to kind of strategize on the fly, and I saw him kind of like slow down a little bit towards the third round of the first set. And so I just figured like this is gonna go into round 2 no matter what. So I just matched his pace, and then I saw him drop on the pull-ups. So I dropped, and then I looked at the clock and saw there was like 15, 20 seconds left. So I held on for the pull-ups and then tried to get as much as I could in the bank for the next round.
How does this workout specifically compare to the past reps ahead that you've done? Is this one harder, or is this one a little bit easier knowing that you've got your friends and family to support you through this one?
Yeah, they're all pretty, they get you pretty anxious, you know, with the build-up. I think, honestly, like, for me, this one was about the same as far as, like, stress level, maybe. Maybe a little bit more just with there being, like, more people, like, a little bit closer to you. But, like, this stage, like, this environment's perfect because you step up, you're, like, in the ring, you know, it's all roped off. It's super cool feeling, you know. You feel like a pro athlete for sure.
Well, you are a pro athlete. We see you compete all the time. Now you're a Masters athlete. How do you stay motivated and inspired to continue to compete, especially going against someone like, you know, a youngster like Jake Marconi?
Yeah.
Young Masters athlete.
Young
Yeah,
Masters.
you're young,
32.
but still, I want to give you the
right.
credit. You know, I want to give you that credit.
Yeah, no, I'm just super blessed to have, like, the people around me, like, that want to be better and train with me, you know. Like, I honestly couldn't do it without them back home. And they're heck of athletes themselves, and you'll see their names pop up pretty soon. It's just a matter of time, you know, just like everybody, just getting the time in and the effort. And yeah, I enjoy doing this, and I enjoy like supporting Phil and what he's working towards, and you know, Michael and Renovo and all them. It's awesome. So yeah, I'm just blessed to be here, honestly.
That was the third match. We got 3 more. What do you think the maximum number of rounds that one of these matches with this sequence can possibly go?
I'm thinking 3. I would say people are gonna probably go into the 3rd round. If you see people going to the 4th, it's gonna be just death. Yeah, I mean, just a straight dog fight for sure. But I see knockouts 3 rounds and below.
Well, Malachi Bennett, veteran of the Reps Ahead circuit, adding a win to the victory tally here in the resume. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you guys for being here.
Thanks for coming over and sharing those insights.
You bet. Anytime. Sorry about all the sweat.
No worries for that. Malachi Bennett takes down Marconi in the 2nd round of the 3rd match of the evening. And it looks like Kelly Stone and Kyra Milligan are already in the ring. Seems like everything's ready to go. Just looking for a word from them. So we might be getting started pretty quick here.
Brian, do you hear that Fran lung going on? Got some coughs.
Yeah, we need to get some waters over here for the winners athletes for those interviews for sure. Anyway, looks like we're just going to roll right into the next one. Kelly Stone out of CrossFit Omnia team took 9th place at the CrossFit Games last year. She'll be in the green top, pink shorts, left side of the screen. Kyra Milligan from CrossFit Mayhem's team, 7th place at the games last year. Blue top, gray sportswear, sitting on her box over there. Kelly was going to give it a run as individual this year and didn't get the opportunity due to the penalty from the step downs with so many elite athletes in the sport, experienced, and is part of the inspiration for the redemption nature of this match. And in the meantime, Kyra Milligan taking the same step out of the team realm into individual and claimed a spot out of the West Coast Classic to have her first opportunity as an individual athlete at the games. I could see arguments for both athletes being highly motivated here. Who do you think has the edge as we get set for the 4th match of the night?
To be honest with you, I think Kelly has a little bit more of a fire because her season was cut short. She didn't get to show the world what she's capable of, and I do truly think if she had been given an opportunity to go to semifinals, which I think she's absolutely fit enough to do, she would have been in contention for the CrossFit Games this year. I believe she is fit enough to do it. I think she and Kyra share a lot of similar strengths as athletes. So these two going head to head. Also, if we're going to just talk about a quad size, I mean, everyone always says quads like Kyra. Well, what about quads like Kelly? These girls are both phenomenally built female athletes, and I think it's going to be really fun to see them throw down against each other.
Definitely. And you know, Kyra's in this, she's in the middle of the games training, as we talked about. It's really cool to me when we spoke to her in the interviews leading up to this that it wasn't a consideration. She was invited to this before qualifying. She never considered not doing it. We got the chance to see games athletes in Jacksonville do this and realize they could train through the competition. And Kyra and her coach Kiefer have felt exactly the same way. They did a full day of training here at MBS yesterday. We had an aerobic session this morning. And while she's obviously in good physical condition right now, it will be interesting to see. I mean, her goal for the season has been achieved, and it's kind of like, you know, what can we do at the games now? And in the meantime, she has this opportunity to get the spotlight on her, to have a chance to show her stuff in a one-on-one setting and go against a very formidable opponent. So I'm not exactly sure. I thought they were about to start, and now they're taking a seat on the box there. I'm going to try to get a word from Phil exactly what time we're going to start. So stick with us for a second, and we'll be right back with Kelly Stone versus Kyra Milligan, our first main card of the night.
Hi there, my name is Michael Mayali, and I have the privilege of working with this incredible team putting on Reps Ahead Pro 3 for you today. I want to say thank you to them, thank you to you, and thank you to anybody who's been a part of getting this event series to where it is today. If you'll remember, we do these events to raise awareness and support for the New You Cares Foundation in an effort to provide healthcare, nutrition, and fitness services for free to members of exceptional communities all around the United States. Since the last Reps Ahead Pro event, we have been able to do so much work that in the month of June alone, we have provided over $67,000 worth of healthcare, nutrition, and fitness services for free to veterans and first responders. If you would like to support that, please text Renovo to 801-801. That's RENOVO to 801-801. With that said, we hope that you enjoy the event today, and we cannot wait to see you at the next Reps Ahead Pro event in the near future.
You could also, like, if you wanted to, during the
Welcome back, MBS CrossFit in Thornton, Colorado. The crowd is filling in as the celebrity status, quite frankly, of the athletes is picking up. We are going to stick to the scheduled time as much as we can. The matches are ending relatively quickly as we thought, so we're about 90 seconds away from the start of our first main card match. And obviously Malachi and Jake have, some credentials to their name, but now we're really getting into some serious athletes, top 10 team athletes from the games last year, and Kyra Milligan, a 2024 individual games athlete. She'll be on the right side of the screen in the blue sports bra. Kelly Stone on the left in the green and pink. We talked about a couple minutes ago why both athletes could potentially win this match, but when it comes down to it, Bella, who are you picking?
I don't like this question. I'm going to go with Kelly, because I think she's the redemption story, and that's why we're here. I think Kyra has another shot at continuing to prove herself. So for me, it's not about the fitness. For me, it's about the storyline, and this is for Kelly.
Yeah, I think Kelly Stone is certainly not a bad pick. In some ways, she's like the biggest wild card of these next three matches, because I haven't seen her do individual competition in a while. At least I haven't. But we know she has tremendous capacity. I also think that Kyra Milligan is in some of the best form that she's ever been in her life. And I think that she's going to have a little bit of pride here when it comes to wanting to represent herself as a games athlete now. So I'll go against you once again and take Kyra. If you haven't seen the sequence up to this point, it's 3 minutes of work, 1 minute of rest for a maximum of 5 rounds, 12 box jump overs, 6 thrusters, 105 pounds for these ladies, and 12 chest bar pull-ups.
3, 2, 1, go!
They do have the option to do rebounding step downs. I think that both of the female pro matches have made kind of a ladies' agreement to go for step downs rather than the rebound, just in the preservation of health in the midst of competition. So far, it looks like that's the case. And both women are going to be coming off the first round at the same time. And so far, I don't see the urgency from either woman that we saw from at least one athlete in all of the 3 previous matches.
I think they're both running their own race here, but Kyra's a little bit quicker on that barbell, trying to get out of the pain cave as quickly as she possibly can, which is in round 1. They can go fast with 2:39. We'll see if they can make it out with interval number 1.
Yeah, and Kyra Milligan, with the range of motion on the thruster and the capacity on the gymnastics, some of these movements, as you alluded to, are definitely in her wheelhouse. But as the women come off the bar at the 52-second mark, there was nothing between them through one round of this sequence.
I think they probably know that this one is going to be coming down to who can hold on the longest. For the guys, it's who can burn the bar down the fastest. For the girls, it's been a different story. The girls have gotten into the second round, and here they are, kind of slow and steady. I think truly, once they figure out who's going to die and when, it's going to be a matter of time.
Still no separation between Stone and Milligan as they get into the second set of thrusters. You see the speed of Milligan's thrusters on the right. It's just a movement that she is particularly good and fast at, so don't be surprised if she always gains about a rep there. But Kelly was able to reel that rep back in on the pull-ups. Now Kyra in this round jumps up and will have a 2 or 3 rep advantage as we're at the minute 45 mark, a minute 15 to go. When they come off of this bar is when we're going to see that kind of 2-minute turning point that's been the pattern through the first 3 matches.
Still together, going to the third round of this one on the box. Kelly's a bit slower on the box. She seems to have a slower pace overall, but she's not far behind.
She looks poised, almost controlled, and she's also looking at the clock. You at home can see the clock between the rig. There's an identical clock on the other side of the floor that the athletes can see when they're looking at the camera. And she was looking at that pretty intentionally. You may have just seen Kyra also looking at it as she made her way over to the barbell. We're at the 2:25 mark. Both women picking up the barbell once again. I would think that if they can both hold on, Kyra will have that 1 rep lead, but I don't think we're going to have more than 2 or 3 reps between them by the time this interval expires.
I think once you get to that, final minute, if there's not at least 7 reps, you're not going to have that 14 reps ahead, so you're going to go to the second interval. Maintain the damage control here going into round 2.
Yeah, last 10 seconds of the interval, just ticking between a 4 and 5 rep advantage. Kelly's going to get all these chest bars done. It's about how many reps Kyra can get on the box, and she goes to the rebounding tactic right there at the end. And this is what, you get into the flow of competition, and the competitor comes out, and I think that's what we saw for Kyra there right at the end, trying to get a little bit of an edge. And for all that effort, it's only 3 reps.
It's only 3 reps, and she looks to be breathing a little bit harder than Kelly here. They're both, good competitors, good athletes, great friends. But Kelly looks so composed, kind of like a panther in the jungle. She has not made her strike yet.
Panther's one of my favorite animals, Black Panther in particular. Did you know that about him?
I do not. The more you know.
Always like to watch the athletes. At Reps Ahead Pro 2, we had a lot of rounds as the sequence produced that kind of competition. And to see the little nuances and intricacies different. Kelly almost right away going to the water to keep kind of the mouth fresh and get that dryness. Kyra waiting much later in the interval, but both athletes getting some water there, back up on their feet with about 10 seconds to go, and they'll start back exact at the start of the sequence. So they don't start where they left off. It's back to the start on the box jumps.
Kelly's picking up pace here, looking faster than she did in interval number 1. Still where she was, 3 reps behind.
Yeah, I think, but I'm guessing here. If we get a chance to ask her, we can. But I think that Kelly knew that this was not going to be a 1-round knockout. And if you know that this is going to a second round, then being able to just keep the heart rate as under control. I don't want to say low because it's going to be spiked. We got chest to bars and thrusters. I don't care how good you are. The heart rate gets up. But keep it as low as possible for as long as possible and wait for the opportunity.
Wait for your opportunity, but also she's a local athlete, so she's used to competing in this altitude. Brian, when we worked out earlier, I had the worst case of cottonmouth I've had in a minute.
Yeah, and personally, we did a 6-round workout. It was in the 3rd round of that workout where the elevation just kind of hit me like a truck. We'll see if, as we get further into this, that happens to Kyra. But Kyra sticking with the rebounding box jumps here. She didn't do it in the first part of this round, and now she's almost smiling and stopping. Yeah. But she did pull to the 9 rep ahead mark there for the first time, and she has been a little faster on the box. 2 more box jump overs for Stone, and Milligan ripping through these thrusters again. Despite that little slowdown on the step overs, no slowdown on the thrusters. She's 9 reps ahead. You may be able to hear the crowd picking up. And if she can knock out these 12 chest to bars in 1 set, it may not matter what Kelly does.
I don't think it's going to matter, Brian. Here she goes. Kyra Milligan.
Phil always briefs the athletes on working past the whistle. She went to 14. She did another rep. And at the just shy of the 2-minute mark in round 2, Kyra Milligan went from having almost no margin to getting 14 reps ahead and knocking Kelly Stone out in the first pro card of the night.
Hey, that's games athlete brain right there. Here she goes.
I honestly can't wait to get her over here and find out what was going through her head on those box jumps. Because she went for the rebounds, then she stopped and smiled and looked at her judge. And I just need to know what was going on in her mind.
I think she was tired. I think it was uh-oh, I'm tired. Do I have enough to hold on? She did.
It certainly looked that way, but she finished the box jumps, and then she basically went into attack mode. Rushed those thrusters, immediately on the pull-up bar. And she looks to me right now like she's teetering on the edge between pain and happiness.
All right, Kyra. What was the game plan?
Look at that quad pump. My legs are tired just looking at it. Ouch.
Yeah, PC on the mic tonight asking her what the game plan was, and she said there wasn't really no game plan. Just to go out there, feel Kelly out, and look for the opportunity when it came. And, I mean, as far as we could tell, that's what she was able to do.
Well, you heard Malachi. He had to completely change strategy based on what Marconi had told him in the beginning. So maybe a game plan isn't totally necessary to win this.
Yeah, Marconi told us he had no nickname, but now maybe called the Deceiver.
He's a liar.
I don't know. It's always also interesting because when you're back there in the warm-up area, it's just you and your opponent. What kind of conversation is there? Is there that little bit of cat and mouse? I'm going to tell her this, but I'm going to do that. Either way, that was the first pro card, and we've now had 4 matches of John, which is the sequence for tonight, and no match has made it out of the second round. Kyra's just having a word with her coach. We're going to try to get her over here to get some insights from her about that. So give us a second to try to get her over here. If you guys didn't see the lineup for today, that was the 4th of 6 matches. And the pro card for the men is going to be coming up next. It is slated to start at 4:50 Mountain Time, local time here in Colorado. That's about 12 minutes from now. And we are going to stick to that time frame in case there's anyone that's tuning in specifically for any one of these matches. You guys may see the crew in the background adjusting the pull-up bar heights, changing out the barbells once again, and giving the athletes a chance to get situated and acquainted with the floor. Kyra has finished up her little debrief with Kiefer, and she's going to slide in here to the booth and join us.
Oh, God. Hi.
You all right? Kyra Milligan taking down Kelly Stone in 2 rounds. We heard you say to Patrick, no real game plan prior to the match.
Yeah.
But, once you get into the flow of it, you probably start to have some kind of a thought. At what point did you know that this was going to go at least 2 rounds?
From the very first, there's no way, with Kelly being as fit as she is, it wasn't going to the second. If you're an athlete that make the games, you can work really, really hard for 3 minutes and keep up with someone.
And you obviously have qualified for the CrossFit Games this year. We talked to you in the interview prior to the competition this week, but you've pretty much been able to maintain your games training and still come out here and do this. Has that been the experience?
Yeah, it's been really fun. Yesterday, this gym welcomed me with open arms. I got my full day of training in. This morning, every single one of the competitors came out and did you all came out and did my morning session with me. So, it's
For
been
better
great.
or worse?
For better or worse. Only 3 of you, including you, Brian, finished. Bella back down
She
on
worked
me.
out beforehand.
Paige told me she wanted to do 4 rounds. We were a team here.
I have to ask you about one specific moment in that workout. So your last set of box jump overs, you started doing some rebounding box jumps, and then you stopped, looked at your judge, and smiled. What was happening at that moment?
My legs were jello and I had nothing else, and I just looked at him like, please let Kelly win right now.
But kind of the opposite happened, because you did take that pause. You came to a full stop, but 40 seconds later, the match was over.
So I think the biggest thing for me this year has been build awareness ever since Rogue. Like I've said a couple times, I didn't have a lot of fun there, wasn't really in it. Dubai, I think I was a competitor, kind of came out in me, knowing where people were, picking them off. At semis, I knew for example, I knew Bethany was going to be better on the double unders, but I knew if I ran faster, I would out front squat her. So just little things like that. And then with this, when I stopped and I was like, oh crap, I'm done, I looked over and I saw Kelly looked a little bit non-composed. The entire workout, she was so composed. And that time I saw a little bit of fear in her. I was like, all right, gotta keep going.
So talk me through that. So you're used to picking athletes one by one down to win a heat, to win an event. You only have one person to either run down or that is chasing you for intervals. So it's not even that long of a piece. How do you go through that as an athlete, and what are you thinking about? What's the chase like?
Honestly, I'm not probably thinking about a lot. More so just I know how short I am, I know how powerful I am on a bar. So chest to bar, box jump overs, we were rep for rep. And so I knew if I could out squat her by 1 to 2 reps on the thruster, I'd be in a good spot. And hopefully have her try to move a little bit faster than she wants to on the other things.
What have you learned about yourself as an athlete through going 1v1 here?
That even if it hurts and I want to quit, I can't, because you don't know how everybody else is feeling.
Gotcha.
A little bit of a different competition experience, but sounds like a pretty valuable one.
Oh, it's so fun. I would definitely do this again. It's a blast.
So the games is coming up, Kyra. What are you going to do next in preparation? You've done reps ahead. What's next for you?
Gracie Walton and Bailey Martin get down to Vegas on the 1st and the 10th. And so it's just a really good crew of games training. And I'm super, super excited.
Good people.
Good people.
Good company.
Good people. They just want to work hard and get, 40 days left?
Got some time.
Yeah.
I know there's people counting, but
Well, I only saw it because I saw somebody's post saying 40 days. And I was like, oh, okay. Okay, that's good.
time to lock it in.
Time to lock it in.
Well, you certainly locked it in tonight. Congrats on the win. 1-0 in your Reps Ahead debut, taking down Kelly in the first main card match of the night, pro card match of the night, and a little extra money in the pocket. Were you thinking about the winning bonus at all when it was hurting out there?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to help pay for my travel to the games.
Well, it is a great opportunity that Phil creates for the athletes. We are honored that you decided to come and show up and put on a show tonight. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking time, despite being tired, to sit here with us and
Thank you.
tell us a little bit about it.
My heart rate's finally down, so that's nice.
All right, Kyra Milligan
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Kyra. Sorry.
out of Las Vegas, taking the win, knocking out Kelly Stone in the second round. We've had a couple matches, 4 matches so far, none of them gone through past the second round. And I think that, the sequence has basically created that scenario. I still think there's a chance we see a 3-round.
I hope for the athlete's sake we don't. But I will say, it's not about redemption this weekend, apparently.
Yeah, the Redeemers have not redeemed so far.
Not much.
And we got 2 more opportunities for that. Nick Mathew and James Sprague will be coming up next. And again, we have 2 athletes that are at very different stages of their respective CrossFit Games seasons. We're going to step away for about 2 minutes. And this match is set to start 6 or 7 minutes from now at 4:50 Mountain Time. Sprague versus Nick Mathew coming up next.
Hi there, my name is Michael Mayali, and I have the privilege of working with this incredible team putting on Reps Ahead Pro 3 for you today. I want to say thank you to them, thank you to you, and thank you to anybody who's been a part of getting this event series to where it is today. If you'll remember, we do these events to raise awareness and support for the New You Cares Foundation in an effort to provide healthcare, nutrition, and fitness services for free to members of exceptional communities all around the United States. Since the last Reps Ahead Pro event, we have been able to do so much work that in the month of June alone, we have provided over $67,000 worth of healthcare, nutrition, and fitness services for free to veterans and first responders. If you would like to support that, please text Renovo to 801-801. That's RENOVO to 801-801. With that said, we hope that you enjoy the event today, and we cannot wait to see you at the next Reps Ahead Pro event in the near future.
Reps Ahead Pro Showcase 3 Redemption live from MBS CrossFit in Thornton, Colorado. I'm Brian Friend, joined by Bella Martin, and our main card matchup featuring 2 CrossFit Games athletes in James Sprague and Nick Mathew is slated to start a couple minutes from now. As we mentioned a few minutes ago, James Sprague is riding some high momentum at the moment. Not only did he qualify for his first CrossFit Games last year and punch his ticket to the second CrossFit Games this year, he did it in style. A great performance out in the West Coast, taking 3rd place against a very elite field full of athletes that have top 10 Games potential. He believes he has top 10 potential at the Games this season. And his opponent is Nick Mathew, a man who, similarly to Kelly Stone and the women that we'll see in the final, had his season cut short after 2 really impressive seasons at the CrossFit Games the past 2 years. Hence the redemption battle. We really haven't seen the Redeemers been able to come over that hurdle. What makes you think Nick might be able to turn that tide, Bella?
I think Nick is just one of those athletes that thrives in a fun environment. He reminds me a lot of Noah Olson, if I'm going to be honest. When the crowd is there, he puts on a show. And so I think Nick is that athlete that if any of the Redeemers are going to do it today, it's going to be Nick. But I tell you what, the tension between these two and the tension and anxiety that I'm feeling right now, just watching them kind of walk around, James is puffing up his chest. If there's a match that I'm excited to watch, it's this one.
And they've been playful in the build-up, but also, you know, James was over there in Nick's corner, standing up tall, puffing out the chest, and maybe putting down a little bit of intimidation. James told me he thinks he can do 4 full rounds of this sequence in the first 3-minute interval.
I'm sure he can.
And we saw Riley Myrick in the first interval do a 47-second split. But nobody has been able to sustain that intensity for a full 3 minutes. James may be in the best shape of his life right now. And if he's able to do that, I mean, Nick's going to have to answer a pretty tall task just to get through the first round.
Yeah, but if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Nick Mathew.
I absolutely believe that Nick Mathew, although his last 2 seasons were the first that he's made the CrossFit Games, has been knocking on the door of qualifying for the CrossFit Games at very competitive regionals and semifinals for several years prior to making it there. He showed up at the CrossFit Games a couple years ago, notched a few event wins, had a very impressive finish just outside of the top 10, backed it up with another solid... Sorry, Patrick, making me laugh on the mic there. Backed it up with another great performance last year. He got the better of Sprague there. Sprague got the better of him at Wadapalooza. And it's kind of like time to settle the score here between James Sprague and Nick Mathew in our penultimate match of the night. The sequence tonight is John. 3 minutes on, 1 minute off for a maximum of 5 rounds so far. They haven't needed more than 2. 12 box jump overs. They can rebound if they want to. 6 thrusters at 155 and 12 chest to bar pull-ups, 5 seconds to the start.
4, 3, 2, 1, go. And they're off.
Rebounding box jumps for both men out the gate, and actually these were the guys that were lobbying for Phil to give the rebounding option. And you know, Phil is receptive to the athletes' requests. He said, we'll give you the option if you want it. We'll leave it up to you. Both of them said, yeah, absolutely, we'll do it. Out the gate, James with about a half rep lead. And you would think that similarly to Kyra Milligan and Nick Mathew would have a little bit of an advantage here. And sure enough, he makes up that half rep, and it's about a 1 rep difference from a half rep behind to a half rep ahead.
It's the thrusters and the chest bar for the guys that we've seen make the difference in this one. Nick Mathew trying to get that 1 rep ahead. Haven't seen any green yet.
No, it's just flickering between a 1 and a 0, and at 47 seconds, both men off the box. No hesitation, immediately into the second set of box jump overs. And you know, like, rebounding box jumps is something that you'll see pro-level athletes doing. Historically, it's been a part of this sport, and I think about it the same way I do any other movement. If there are multiple variations of it, and you're a pro, you should be practicing it.
Yeah, I think you should be practicing. I think with the sport of CrossFit, it's moving into safer practices. And I think for an athlete like me, I don't compete, so I don't need to be doing rebounding. But if it's going to head-to-head 1v1 battle, rebound on that box.
Mathew once again with about a half rep lead off the bar. James looking at the clock, and at the 1:30 mark, he bounced up for the chest to bar pull-ups. So 4 rounds is not going to happen. They're off the pace for that, and really not surprising. I mean, this workout compounds quickly. And at the 141 mark, Mathew drops off, and he's going to carry a 1 rep lead into the 3rd round of the sequence here in the 1st round of the match.
Time for redemption, baby. He's holding on to that lead over James Sprague, just 2 reps ahead.
Yeah, and quite frankly, he looks good. Like, the rebounding box jumps look good for him. A couple break breaths here heading to the barbell, but Sprague, same thing. And for the first time, we kind of see the athletes eyeing each other up. As I say that, it's Sprague who gets the bar off the ground first, and because of that, I think they're probably going to end up dropping this bar at the same time.
They'll drop it at the same time, but they both know they're going to have to go into that next interval. So I think now, just damage control. Can you keep your heart rate down? Can you keep it white and 0-0 across the board?
Yeah, I think both athletes here need to adopt Malachi Bennett's philosophy of, okay, I'm going to have to do this for another round, so let me just stay close and see whether I can, take a little bit of an advantage in that 2nd round. But James not taking my advice and actually attacking here at the last part of the 1st interval. 10 seconds to go, and he goes to the rebound after the step downs in the last round. Nick also rebounding, but a little bit slower, and James will get that last rep in. So will Nick. So Sprague will carry a 4-rep advantage into the second interval. Mathew to the bench immediately, shakes his head a little, sticks out the tongue, looking over at Sprague, who's tying his shoe.
Again, two opposite corners here in our little octagon of a competition floor. James, calm, cool, collected, tying his shoe. Nick looks a little worse for wear, but hopefully he can bring his heart rate down, get a little bit of water.
Yeah, and with early knockouts, we haven't seen too much of this intra-round, insight into how the athletes attack it. But I love this part of the reps ahead format because we can still see how they both are doing. Now Nick has seemed to recover a little bit. He's talking to his judge, just clarifying, I think, that they will start over at the beginning of the interval. So they'll start once again with the 12 box jump overs into the thrusters and the chest to bars. Round 2, Sprague versus Mathew. Sprague with the 4-rep advantage. And here we go. 3 more minutes of work if they need it. Second round, we have not seen any match get past this round yet. And Sprague off to a very fast start in terms of these box jump overs.
I think Nick really hopes there is no third round.
Well, I wonder if Sprague sees an opportunity here. The urgency on the box jump overs was as good as it was straight out the gate in round 1. Got to the barbell just as fast as he did in round 1. And a little bit of a hustle in his step over to the pull-up bar. Now, this could pay off well for James in terms of a knockout in this round. If Nick is able to dig here and James doesn't knock him out in the first 2 minutes of this round, the tides do have the potential to turn. As it stands, James with an 8-rep lead getting to the box, so he's doubled his advantage in just 50 seconds. And Mathew drops with a couple reps to go, and we're into the double digits. Sprague 11, and now 12 reps ahead. Mathew needs to answer the intensity here. Sprague done with the box jumps, and this will be Mathew's chance to reel that number back into the single digits. Sprague straight to the barbell, and if Mathew isn't urgent getting to the bar, Sprague could knock him out here on the pull-ups. Very reminiscent of what we just saw from Milligan. Can Sprague hold on and get to the pull-up bar? The grimace is on the face, but the light is in front of him. And I think both athletes likely know what's coming. James Sprague digging deep. Mathew fighting for his life here at the minute 30-second mark. And almost a carbon copy of Milligan in stone. James Sprague, the 2024 CrossFit Games qualifier, knocks out Nick Mathew, the man who didn't get the opportunity to fight for the games this year. I cannot believe how similar that match was to what we just saw.
That's incredible. But I think that's what's going to happen. When you have athletes at this level that know exactly what they need to do to get it done, they're going to do it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
wow.
Let's give it a
James Sprague hit the 144 mark officially with a knockout, 14 reps ahead of Mathew in round 2 of the sequence called John here at Pro 3 Redemption. Within a few seconds of finishing his match, he did the Captain Morgan's pose on his back in front of the crowd, turned around and made sure to say great job to Nick, his opponent. We talked about the sportsmanship with Malachi, Bennett, James Sprague, obviously, Noah Olson, Nick Mathew. We just have a ton of athletes in the space that are of this kind of character in addition to their fitness. And then he also turned back around and acknowledged the crowd, which has swelled to a couple hundred people as there's just been more and more people walking in as the matches have worn on here.
It's amazing to see the community really show up for these athletes. It's not just a community event, it's for everybody.
Well, there's a two-pronged approach to the events that Phil has designed here. The intentional addition of the community matches and this local pros obviously brings the local crowd. The addition of big names in the CrossFit world, CrossFit Games athletes across the board in these last 3 matches, 6 athletes. Obviously, it's not that often that you get athletes of that caliber coming to your local affiliate to do a showcase match like this. James finishing up there with Patrick, and he's going to make his way over to the booth. We'll make some way for the big man to join us here. Slide in here, James.
Oh, let's sit down. Thank you.
James Sprague, congratulations.
Thank you.
Back in the winner's circle at a Reps Ahead match. How does it feel?
Oh man, it was almost redemption for me too. Even though the redemption really meant for those that kind of missed out on their season, I feel like the last loss for me really stung against Dallas. So I really wanted it this time, and I put in the work to try and improve it.
I mean, you've been putting in the work across the board. With Patrick there for the crowd, you were talking about some of the specific things you've been working on that paid off in this workout. But for the people at home, what have you been working on and how did it pay off tonight?
I've really been working on just staying upright in my squat, speed in my squats no matter what weight it is, just not pausing at any point during the rep. Really helped my cycle speed as a tall guy. I think being taller, the range of motion on these movements would typically be disadvantageous, but mentally I try to make it an advantage by just being tougher than the other guy.
Two nuances that I saw out there. One was that you did go to a step down at one point. Is that strategic?
My legs were getting really heavy. I thought it was about a cramp. And so once that feeling went away, I started jumping again.
And the second one was in your very last round of thrusters. I saw the pain face set in, maybe the last two thrusters. Was there any temptation to drop the bar?
No chance. I saw how beat up he was, and I knew the only way to win this workout is to get a good chunk of chest to bar. So I was like, you want to win? Here's your chance. So we did that, and I'm very grateful. I got to get to know all these guys, amazing competitors. Nick, incredible man. Just loved hanging out with him, and excited to grow with all these athletes in the sport long term.
James, I would say you're kind of the Mr. Nice Guy of CrossFit. People know you for your very friendly disposition. How do you turn on that switch and flip to a lethal competitor?
100%. I feel like so many people look at me as the happy nice guy without the fire. But in reality, it's like the fire is what fuels my kindness. I'm so passionate about the sport. I love everyone in it. But I just feel like it's so easy to be nice to everyone and just have this positive attitude because I'm grateful for what I get to do. But I honestly, about 30 minutes before an event starts, it's focus on the warm-up, focus on my strategy. Social time will come later, like right now.
Yeah, I mean, I respect it. I'm sure athletes do as well. You've come through the ranks as a teen. You've made your name as an open athlete now. Do you feel a responsibility to the younger generation to inspire them and kind of teach them the ways?
100%. I did my whole CrossFit journey wrong as a young 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old. I overtrained. I underate. I made the sport an idol in my life. And so my goal is just to show all these young people, no matter where you're at, it's like, hey, this is supposed to be a fun thing to add to your life. Not one of those things that's like, becomes your life, Yeah.
Becomes your life. Your dad also does the sport. How do you balance that kind of camaraderie, father-son dynamic?
Yeah. Oh man, he's training for triathlons right now. When he gave me the news the other day, he's going to go for the games again next year. So I get to do another games year with him. I think he's a little jealous. It's been my fourth games. He's at 3, so he's always trying to get more than each other. And I just love doing fitness. My whole family is the best.
That's so unique, and that is so CrossFit.
Yeah, right? So true.
I love it.
You made the transition back to the Northwest this year. For all those that may be watching back home, anything you want to shout out to, want to give back home?
Oh man, all the people in the Black Goat fitness community that have helped me get here. Black Goat isn't an affiliate, but it's probably the biggest gym family I've ever had. Just them and my fiance for just supporting me even during her busy pharmacy season. She still supports me as much as she can and does whatever she can to make me a better athlete. And then just everyone that's in my day-to-day journey, whether in the gym, body workers, everyone helps this stuff come together. So it's not just me on the floor, it's all of them together.
You're such an inspiration.
Thank you.
In many ways.
Thank you, guys.
Last one, James. You've been a part of Reps Ahead for a while now. You've been the mainstay at the 3 pro matches. Just speak to kind of the evolution of that, the crowd that's here tonight, and what Phil's been creating for athletes through these first 3 pro events.
Every event gets more unique, gets more professional, and gets more crowd. I mean, if people can see on this live stream what we got here, I'd say like we're close to 200 people just in this small affiliate, like gathering together to make us better and cheer us on. Philip has a incredible mindset of just wanting to do it for a greater cause rather than for himself. He's a very selfless man who just wants to see athletes have opportunities. And any opportunity he gives me, I'll continue to come back because I freaking love the style and I love how it makes me feel.
Well, James, always an honor to watch you compete no matter the stage. Congrats on getting the win tonight.
Thank you.
Reps Ahead Pro 3 champ on the men's side, James Sprague.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for watching. All you guys back at home and all over the place. Appreciate it.
All right, James.
Y'all are awesome. Time to go on the bike.
Yep.
That was 2 frames in a row. It's so painful. I only had to do...
It's still on.
I only had to do 24 thrusters, right?
Something like that.
Okay.
Maybe 30. Maybe 30.
Cool. You want me to help commentate this one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Nah, go cool down.
Okay.
Stay fresh.
I'll be back. We'll have a bunch of cards tonight.
We'll have a yawn.
Yes, sir.
James Sprague, winner of Pro 3, taking down Mathew once again, second round knockout, and that will pave the way and set the stage for our final match of the night. We got Paige Powers out of CrossFit Mayhem, Sydney Wells out of Proven HQ, both athletes flying out to the West Coast for this one, and pretty cool way to end the night. Both young athletes in the sport. Both of them didn't get to compete at semifinals and have been gracious enough to give us their presence here tonight. So we'll be out for about 2 minutes, and then 5:10 local time is the start time for Paige Powers versus Sydney Wells, who will be closing out Reps Ahead 3 here from Thornton, Colorado.
Hi there, my name is Michael Mayali, and I have the privilege of working with this incredible team putting on Reps Ahead Pro 3 for you today. I want to say thank you to them, thank you to you, and thank you to anybody who's been a part of getting this event series to where it is today. If you'll remember, we do these events to raise awareness and support for the New You Cares Foundation in an effort to provide healthcare, nutrition, and fitness services for free to members of exceptional communities all around the United States. Since the last Reps Ahead Pro event, we have been able to do so much work that in the month of June alone, we have provided over $67,000 worth of healthcare, nutrition, and fitness services for free to veterans and first responders. If you would like to support that, please text Renovo to 801-801. That's RENOVO to 801-801. With that said, we hope that you enjoy the event today, and we cannot wait to see you at the next Reps Ahead Pro event in the near future.
Tasha? She must have that good insurance. Going for this. Paige, when you sit around or something like this is almost similar like the corral, right? What goes through your mind? Do you have any like pre-traditions, like anything that you have to do every time? Yes? Yes, he does. Colorado, what about you? Give yourself a hand. You guys are behind. That thin air does not affect your cheering at all. 10 seconds. There you go. I think that's a big sign. A big sign. Let's go find like a trash can and a Sharpie. Libby, how's that food?
Final match of the night here from MBS CrossFit in Thornton, Colorado. My name is Brian Friend, joined by Bella Martin, and happy to be bringing you guys Reps Ahead Pro Showcase 3 Redemption. Our final match will feature Paige Powers versus Sydney Wells in the sequence that has been called John by Phil Thomas, the founder of Reps Ahead. John is a 3-minute on, 1-minute off format. Can last up to 5 rounds. We haven't seen more than 2 yet. The goal is to get 14 reps ahead. You got 12 box jump overs, 20 inches for the women, 6 thrusters at 105 pounds, 12 chest bar pull-ups. We've seen 5 matches, 5 iterations of this so far tonight. Bella, with 1 match to go, what are you looking forward to most in this final match, given what we've seen through the first 5?
The girls just need to manage this first round. They're going to go into the second one. That's what we've seen. They know they're going to do it. We'll see who can get at least maybe 1 to 3 reps ahead out of the first one. That's typically what we're seeing as the most successful strategy. You don't necessarily need to be leading by a lot going into the second interval, but try to get something.
In the last 2 matches, we saw Kyra Milligan and James Sprague, who have both qualified for the games this year and are obviously in the middle of games training, exert that kind of elite level fitness in the second round. Neither of these athletes are in that same time of training cycle, so it's a little bit more unknown of exactly where their fitness is at. As I'm watching the 2 athletes on the floor prior to the match, it looks to me like Sydney's got the killer instinct in her eye, and Paige looks a little bit more relaxed. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to go that way when the buzzer hits, though.
I think that's how Paige is. I think Paige is one of those athletes that is always so calm and composed, and that's what makes her such a phenomenal athlete, because you never really know how she's feeling, what she's thinking, anything of that sort. She's just going to go and attack. So we'll see.
She's had this yesterday and today, this kind of lackadaisical, relaxed, enjoying everybody, friendly conversations, smiling through workouts. I think that the flip is about to switch, and Paige Powers is going to tap into the competitive experience that she has as a teenage athlete at the CrossFit Games, as a top 10 individual athlete at the CrossFit Games, as an athlete who competes in a competitive environment every day at CrossFit Mayhem. She has this just ingrained into her, and I think that she's going to turn that on when the countdown hits.
We're just about to find out.
All right, Colorado! Let's get hyped! This is it! The last count! This is it! Reps Ahead Pro 3.
Final match of the night, getting set to start.
To the finished women in the
Patrick Clark on the mic there.
Turn frenemies. Introducing first, at 5'6", 150 pound, 2023 Games rookie, representing CrossFit Proven and her training camp Proven, Sydney Wells.
Just fading out there for Patrick Clark. Great introduction there for Sydney. Big smile from her.
Her opponent, a two-time Games vet, even though she's only 21 years old. The 2023 Tier Lollapalooza Women's Champion, coming in at 5'3", 150 pounds, repping CrossFit Mayhem and Mayhem athlete, Paige Powers!
Saw Patrick earlier today making his note cards, getting ready for that, and he certainly brought the hype for the final match of the night here at Pro 3 Redemption. Powers versus Wells, getting ready to round things out on our sequence. John, 12 box jump overs, 6 thrusters, 12 reps ahead, 3 minutes on, 1 minute off, 10 seconds till go time.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Final match of the night is underway. Powers on the left, Wells on the right. 12 box jump overs, 6 thrusters, 12 chest to bar pull-ups. Goal is to get 14 reps ahead. And once again, like we saw with the women in the first main card match, step downs out of the gate. I think that they've talked about this, but when the fire gets going, we'll see if either of them change course. Sydney Wells with a little bit more urgency to the barbell. She's going to have a 1 rep lead over Powers here in the first round of thrusters. 30 seconds in.
With this workout, you don't really need to think about much. You just have to go. There's no true complex movement. These athletes are pros. They know what they're doing. But can they get it done?
Sydney, again, with a little bit of urgency, getting to the pull-up bar. Powers seemingly having a little bit faster cycle rate, already chipping 1 of the 2 reps away that Sydney has. My guess is they're going to come off within 1 rep of each other. Here comes Sydney and Paige at the 55-second mark, and it's about a 2 rep lead as they both go to rebounding box jump overs in the second round. Now Paige going to the step down, and Sydney back to Powers going to that rebounding action, and this can make a difference.
Sydney set the standard. Paige just followed along. That's what happens with something like that. Someone needs to strike first.
Yeah, it is one of those matches that, you can look for the opportunity. We haven't yet seen it where someone's kind of struck and then been exposed for doing that. The pattern has been that the one who's gone out has been able to hold on. I don't know if it's a mental demoralizing for the other athlete or not, but Sydney Wells is coming out with a purpose here in 1 round. We're 1 minute 45 seconds in, and she's already 7 reps ahead heading into the box jump overs.
Sydney's picking up pace here, Brian.
Yeah, she looks really good, and we haven't hit that 2-minute mark yet. 2 minutes is usually where we start to see the change in facial expression as she gets off of the box here in the 3rd round and heads to the barbell. We'll take a look at that. She looks at the clock and trots to the barbell. I'm wondering if she has an intention of finishing this off in 1 round.
She looks so comfortable on the floor right now.
We did get to see Sydney in this kind of interval or one-on-one style for athletes at the CrossFit Open announcement, the 3rd one, and she did have this attack mode, but she showed that a little bit later in that workout given its nature. She is coming out with a purpose here. We're 2 minutes and 30 seconds in, and she's 13 reps ahead. And if Paige doesn't hurry here, that's 14 and 15. First round knockout. Sydney Wells. I saw the look in her eye. I did not know if she'd be able to do it, but from the 2nd round of box jump overs, Sydney Wells meant business. That was impressive.
I have goosebumps. That was insane. 2:37 finishing for Sydney Wells.
I'm looking at looking at Paige Powers now, and she said, just mouthed, "Wow," and then "ow," and I think that's how I feel watching that. I mean, and Paige Powers going to give Sydney a hug. They are friends. It's been friendly. It's been fun to watch them have those interactions over the last 2 days. But man, I saw this intensity of Sydney firsthand. She happened to be in the lane closest to me. I was at that live announcement in Nashville in around maybe 6, 7, 8 of that open workout. And after the first round of the sequence, she switched it into top gear.
Switching top gear, but that's a college athlete mindset that I think she has. You know what I mean? I think when you go from competing at a collegiate level in any sport and then go and take some time to develop your skills in a new sport, you still have all of those mental learnings. And she's just dialing in and tapping back into what she's already done as a college athlete. I think that's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, she will still say that she's a relatively new athlete to this level of competition.
Absolutely.
But she's earned her right to be in those competitions.
Yeah.
Qualifying for the games, top 10 at Wadapalooza, showing well, and I think impressing a lot of people against 3 top 10 games athletes in an open announcement, and coming out here and just adding another impressive performance to her resume. Every time I've seen Sydney compete, I've been more and more impressed. And I think it's a testament to the training environment she's in, the commitment she has to continuously improving in this sport. We're not going to see her at the games this year, but I will not be surprised if we see her there next year.
I don't think I'd be surprised if I saw it for the next couple of years. I think Sydney's definitely made her ascent onto the top profitable female athletes in the sport. It's been beautiful to watch.
And to try to get Sydney to come over here, just having a conversation with Paige real quick. Patrick thanking the crowd. We have to give a huge thank you to MBS roster for hosting this and all of the people that showed up. And Sydney Wells, winner of the final match of the night here at Reps Ahead. What were you and Paige talking about there after the match?
Well, first we were asking each other. Am I on camera?
Yeah, it's over there.
First we were asking each other if you could feel the altitude, and we both couldn't because we didn't go long enough. So we think if we did like 2 or 3 rounds, we would have felt it. And they were just talking about how our legs were blowing up.
Yeah, I mean, brutal workout. You guys got to watch 5 rounds of that. You saw the early knockouts. Did anything change for you as the rounds are wearing on in terms of expectation of what might happen?
For sure. The first round, like the community match, I was like, whoa. This is way different than I thought, because I thought we were just going to go steady the whole time. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to do what they did. I'm just going to go as hard as I can. And then after watching Jake, I was like, maybe not. So then I watched Kyra, and she played it smart, like steady, and then turned it on when she was ready. So I was going to do what she did. But then I was like, I think I can do it now, so I just turned it on.
I mean, it looked to me like second set of box jumps, you went to 5th gear. Like you went to a different level. The type of intensity that I told you I saw in Nashville during the open announcement in the second half of that workout, were you expecting to have that top gear and be able to get it done in 1 round?
To be honest, going into it, I was going to start at that pace until watching Jake. So looking back, I'm kind of like, it would have been cool to see what would have happened if I would have started there. Because being like a track athlete, I'm pretty explosive and powerful. So short sprints is like a strength of mine. But yeah, I kind of expected to have that here.
We were chatting on the broadcast about things that you probably bring from collegiate athletics out onto the floor. Is that one of those things, knowing where your strengths are and how to utilize them?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like agility and like power is my background, and the box jump overs, I think, were the biggest separator, in my opinion.
I mean, yours were faster, significantly faster. It was fun to watch you just kick into that next gear as you're moving through. Something that we've been chatting is, we're watching these athletes kind of know that they're going to have to go 2 rounds and really strategically pacing it out. Did you think you were going to have to go 2 rounds, or did you think, okay, I've seen it get done in 2:37, I think I can do the same?
I thought we were going to go in the second round. And then I wasn't looking at the board, and I heard like I was 8 reps ahead, and I was like, what? I thought I was like 4. So it's like very deceiving with the thrusters because it's only 6 reps, but they take way longer. So you don't realize how far ahead you are because the numbers don't sound right.
Coming from a track background, you're newer to CrossFit. This 1v1 format, how does this compare to things that you've experienced before? Do you like it? Is it something you want to do again?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. Honestly, like I didn't think I was gonna get nervous. I was super nervous.
It's okay. We got nervous for you guys. We're sitting here so
Yeah,
nervous.
it honestly did kind of remind me a little bit of the open announcement because it's like all eyes on like very few athletes.
Absolutely. What is next for you?
I'm gonna do NorCal Classic and then also do the road qualifier. So hopefully that goes well. I'm doing a High Rocks with my sister in November.
That's fun. Which one?
Chicago.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Very fun.
that's about it right now. Oh, and Waterpalooza in January.
It's quite a stacked list of events.
Yeah, I need some competition because if everything goes well next year, will be like 2 years since I've been on the competition floor. So
keep that edge.
yeah.
Well, I think it's a great decision, and I'm really happy that you came out here. That was an impressive performance. I was telling people at home, every time I see you compete live, it's obvious the work you've been putting in the gym. Anything you want to say on behalf of the team back at Proven in Nashville?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like I tell them all the time, I would not be doing this if it wasn't for them. They are amazing, and like they're the reason I am where I am.
Well, it is great to have a good team in your corner, but you have to show up every day and put in the work. It's clear you've been doing that. Congratulations on being the winner of the final match here at Reps Ahead Pro 3.
Thank you.
Sydney Wells.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Sydney. We'll let you go get your cool down in
Okay.
and collect that winning bonus.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm like so sweaty.
No, that's okay.
As expected. Ooh, Bella.
Wow.
6 matches, a couple first round knockouts, the rest of them in the second round. This sequence brought the fire, brought the intensity, and I think really put on display the excitement level that a pretty quick one-on-one match can bring to this sport. First time doing it for you. What was your experience here for Pro 3?
I think it was awesome. I think when it comes to CrossFit and we're always testing fitness, I think sometimes we think the more the better or the longer the better it is to truly test fitness. But what I think Phil did a great job of, hey, it's not just testing fitness, it's also a game, it's also a show, so let's put on a show. So I think he created this workout, John, that not only tested the fitness of the athletes, but put on an amazing show for every single person that's here, but also showed me something that I haven't seen in a while, is this side of the athletes really tapping in. We don't get to see 1v1 often, but here we are, and I would like to see it again.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Phil won me over at Pro 2 despite the sequence being very different in its expression in the ring. And now seeing this, which I think is more in line with what he wants, he loves the knockout aspect of it. He wants athletes chasing that knockout, chasing that win bonus, and he absolutely got it tonight. So huge credit to Phil and his team for what they did. Huge credit to MBS Thornton, Michael Mayali with Renovo, and New You Cares. If you guys have not had a chance to check that out and support those guys, if you can, it's greatly appreciated. They're a huge part of being able to create these opportunities for athletes, earning potential, exposure, a fun environment for the fans on site, hopefully for you guys at home. Yeah, I know we're going to have a couple more of these coming up this calendar year, and we got some things in the works for next year as well. So if you've been enjoying Reps Ahead, give us a follow. Stay tuned. We'll have some announcements coming up about some really exciting events on the horizon. Bella, thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you to Phil for making it possible. And honestly, thanks to the athletes. This was a stacked lineup from the community athletes through the pros, the games athletes that we got to see. Exciting, compelling matchups, great drama, and I think a lot of potential here for Reps Ahead.
We'll see him in the ring next time.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. Until the next one, I'm Brian Friend, and this is Bella Martin signing off from MBS CrossFit in Thornton, Colorado.
Hi there, my name is Michael Mayali, and I have the privilege of working with this incredible team putting on Reps Ahead Pro 3 for you today. I want to say thank you to them, thank you to you, and thank you to anybody who's been a part of getting this event series to where it is today. If you'll remember, we do these events to raise awareness and support for the New You Cares Foundation in an effort to provide healthcare, nutrition, and fitness services for free to members of exceptional communities all around the United States. Since the last Reps Ahead Pro event, we have been able to do so much work that in the month of June alone, we have provided over $67,000 worth of healthcare, nutrition, and fitness services for free to veterans and first responders. If you would like to support that, please text Renovo to 801-801. That's RENOVO to 801-801. With that said, we hope that you enjoy the event today, and we cannot wait to see you at the next Reps Ahead Pro event in the near future.